The tools we'll be using are an impact driver and a rubber mallet. So as you can see, what I've done is laid out all the components from the flat pack. I've separated the screws. You've got 2 or 3 different sizes there, so separate so it's easy to find which ones you need. So first thing we do is put the bottom and the back together. So make sure you've got these little holes facing out. Just moving them tightly so it's nice and firm and not overdriving a screw, and make sure you're keeping these surfaces flush. If they're not, simply use the mallet, gentle tap, and that will push it back nice and square again. By keeping it square all the way through, you're going to have a nice trim cabinet and everything will work together beautifully. Just bring it along the top edge, down the side here, make sure everything's nice and tidy. So there we have our back and base together. Now we start with the side. So simply place that on the top here, line it up with your fingers, making sure you start flush at this top edge and on the back edge. Okay, so feeling along with those edges, make sure everything's nice and snug. There's a little bit of an overstep here, so just a gentle tap. Okay, so that side's done. We'll now put the other side on. Just turn the cabinet over. Same procedure, making sure that these are at the top. Now you'll notice that the ease of these screws going in, and that's because these are pre-drilled in the sides as well with a small pilot hole. So there's not a lot of force needed to put these together, so it's very simple. Up on this bottom, we'll now put this rail in. Okay, that's your top rail done. Now we'll turn it on its top. And you'll see this little hole locators where you put the bases on. You'll find these 2 little angles here. They face the outside wall. The reason for that is it actually helps support the wall so not all forces on the actual base itself. So there's all the 4 bases fitted. Now we'll start on the next procedure. This is the base for the first part. These simply click into the top here. Okay, the next part of this, you'll find this threaded section here. You push this into the base, locates nice and firmly, and it simply screws into place here. The kick rails for these units are 145mm wide. So what we need to do now is just that foot level to 145, consistent all the way around. Then when we place them in, we make that final adjustment to level to the floor so they're all nice and even along the top of the bench top. Okay, by using a combination square and setting it 145mm from the edge, we simply set the feet down to that one level until they're all the same, and then we can do the final adjustment afterwards. Now we've got the base assembled, turn it up, and we can put the adjustable shelf in. So as you can see, there are a little L bracket support. The pin goes in the hole and set to whatever height you like inside. Okay, now the shelf is in and we now have a completed base cabinet.